Hello, today I would like to introduce you to a new Buddhist channel that I have started, or I'm starting. This will be the first video, and it's called, cleverly named, Theravada Buddhism channel. Let me show you what it's like. So we have a slide here. It's the Theravada Buddhism channel. It's basic Buddhism in the classical Theravada tradition. So the website is, or the YouTube address is www.youtube.com. Then you type a / and the @ Theravada Buddhism for you. The capital letters don't matter. This name was available, so I took it, but the channel is actually called just Theravada Buddhism. The goal of the channel is to convey the basic terms and themes in Buddhism, in classical Theravada Buddhism, and to help you know what every Buddhist should know. And I think that's very important, and I think that there aren't any channels geared towards this. There have maybe been some videos or some attempts, but hopefully we'll try to get a whole series of who knows how many talks we'll have. But there's a lot to learn in terms of basic Buddhism, and so I hope that you can join me with these basic lessons. We're going to have the terms and themes. We're going to talk about the Buddhist chants. We're going to talk about the meanings, the suttas. The lessons will be short and sweet. It'll be geared for memorization, and most importantly, something that you're able to digest. So sometimes the Dhamma talks are very long, and after a while you're enjoying it while you're going over you're enjoying it while you're listening to the Dhamma talk. You feel like you're learning things, but when it's over, when the Dhamma talk is over, what can you take home with you? What can you remember? And a lot of times, if too much information is given, or if it's too complex, you can't really take much with you, or it doesn't stick with you the next day or whatever. So that's another goal of this channel, this new channel. Let's go back to the screen. Maybe you can see me here. So we have, I can't monitor what I can see in the video screen, but I can sort of guess what's going on. So additional items, we're going to talk about some Abhidhamma terms and how they apply. We're going to talk about the structure, the Tipitaka, the root text, the commentaries, the sub-commentaries, and how it plays together with a whole ecosystem. We're going to also include Pali terms, and that's very important. We're going to talk about, perhaps the first lesson we'll talk about is what does Namo Tassa mean. So normally when we start a Dhamma talk, we say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So what does that mean? What does each word mean, actually? You might know what it means generally, but what does each word mean when you say each word? I think that's important. I don't think that's really explained anywhere. So we'll start with that, and then we'll move down to the triple gem. Again, we want you to be able to memorize all the terms that we talk about. So we're going to have nine qualities of the Buddha, 6 qualities of the Dhamma, and 9 qualities of the Sangha. So we might just do 9 qualities at once, which is a lot of information. We might break that up into a few lessons, because we want the lessons to be short and sweet and digestible. But we want you to know all of the Pali terms and what they mean, because these are part of the very, 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 very basic chants. They're very important for every Buddhist to know, and to know with each word by word meaning. And so I think it's very important for everyone to know the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and how they're defined and what they mean. So let's go back to the slides. We have anicca, dukkha, anatta. So you know what these mean, or maybe you don't know what these mean. Maybe you're really, really fresh to Buddhism, but this means, impermanent, suffering, and non-self. We call this the Tilakkhana, and these can be explained in many, many different ways. And again, these are basic terms, and we want you to be able to know these and memorize these. There are actually 40 different ways to define these three terms, the anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So we'll talk about them in a digestible way, but these are basic terms that you should know, and we'll cover that as well. And we'll cover the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Noble Path, and we'll talk about the Pali and how it's structured. And maybe some people don't know that the Eightfold Noble Path is part of the Four Noble Truths. We'll talk about all of this in a digestible way, and we'll see how things go. We'll talk about the 5 precepts, and we'll talk about what they are, and we'll talk about how to judge whether you broke an offense, broke a precept or not. We'll bring in the monks' Vinaya, the Buddhist monastic code, and we have a systematical way of defining whether an offense was broken. And of course, our rules include the 5 precepts. We have a whole superset of rules that we follow, and sometimes we follow them to extreme levels. For instance, celibacy. You would only be responsible for sexual misconduct. So we'll also talk about meditation subjects. That would be very interesting, that a lot of people don't know that there are 40 samatha concentration objects for developing calmness of the mind and concentration. These are preliminary for vipassana meditation, yet most people only know about anapana. So there are many subjects that can be taught, or at least we can have you know about these subjects so that you can explore them further. And there are several classical books that have detailed instructions on how to do that, as well as we can guide you towards some very good teachers as well. And the goal is to have you memorize things, and perhaps we'll have some quizzes, online quizzes, or maybe some apps. I know how to make some apps, and so maybe we'll make some videos and a quiz combined together. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how much time I have. I'm in school right now. I'm learning myself, so I'd like to be able to share this information, and I want you to be able to benefit from basic Buddhism, and maybe we'll go to advanced things. I think that one of the important things to understand is that the basic Buddhism is the advanced Buddhism, and not to try to put down the teachings. If you know some of the basic teachings on a very if you know them on a deep level, some of the basic teachings, you really understand them, then this is very advanced. And so it's very important that you be able to memorize the teachings. We have the conclusion is that we're going to focus on basic terms, basic Theravada Buddhism, classical Theravada perspective. A lot of the English Dhamma talks on YouTube are modern, and sometimes they mix other traditions, like early Buddhist text is not Theravada Buddhism. It's different stuff. It's different sects that have separated, in many cases, have separated from Theravada Buddhism, and there was a reason for that. So we're going to talk about basic themes. We're going to try to gear everything for memorization. We're going to start off with pre-recorded videos because I can edit them, although I'll probably not do much editing. And maybe we'll do live classes later. It might be strange to read what you see on the screen. Maybe live later, or maybe live later. So that's the wish, is to make a channel that's basic, and we want you to be able to reach Nibbana safely and quickly. The website is the address of the YouTube channel is Theravada Buddhism for you. Make sure you put that @ sign there. It's brand new, so you might not be able to search for it. And I hope that you can join me with these classes. Maybe we'll have other monks join me and teach different classes. Maybe it'll just be myself, but I hope that you can be able to reach Nibbana safely and quickly, and that you can realize Nibbana. It's really important, and I hope that this basic Buddhism will be able to reach you in a way that you can digest and put into practice. So sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.